Leaving him alone? Never do these 7 things. Picture it. The door clicks shut behind you. The suitcase wheels go quiet down the hallway. And on the other side of that door, your cat is sitting there, by the mat, looking up at the handle, at the exact spot where your hand just was. Not meowing, not panicking, just watching the door, waiting for it to open again. And it isn't going to. Not for a long time. That's the whole video, and I'm not going to make you wait to know what it's about. You're heading out the door. Maybe it's an ordinary workday, maybe it's a weekend trip, and your cat is watching you go from the top of the stairs or from the windowsill, or from right there by the front door, looking up at that handle like he knows exactly what the suitcase means. And there are 7 things people do when they leave. 7 ordinary, well-meaning, he'll-be-fine things that quietly make it worse for him. We're going to count them down. Number 7 first, and number 1, the one that matters most, the one I want you to change tonight, I'm saving for the very end. But first, let me tell you the thing nobody tells you, the thing that makes all 7 of these matter in the first place. Your cat does not experience your absence the way you think he does. You picture him sleeping through the whole thing, curled up, barely noticing, waking up when you get back, no harm done. A little standoffish, maybe. But fine. And what if I told you the story he's actually living while you're gone is nothing like that? That the quiet apartment you left behind, the one you thought would be so peaceful and restful for him, isn't restful to him at all? That the real danger isn't loneliness the way we feel it, with the sad music and the aching heart, but something far more physical, far more concrete, that has been sitting in plain sight in your home this whole time. Now, don't panic. This is not a "you've been a terrible owner" video, okay? I promise you it's not. Most of what I'm about to tell you is easy to fix. Most of it you can fix in the next 10 minutes with things already sitting in your house right now. No shopping trip, no money. I'm Dr. Aurelio. I've been the old-school cat vet in this town for a long time, longer than I'll admit. And I'm the one who sees the cats that come in on a Monday morning after a weekend alone that went wrong. The dehydrated ones. The ones who stopped eating. The ones whose owners say, "But I left him so much food." So let me walk you through it, honestly, from 7 all the way down to 1. Here's the first thing you have to unlearn, because once you get this, all 7 of these snap into focus. People treat the cat like a small, self-cleaning, self-feeding little machine who honestly prefers to be left alone. And half of that is a myth. Yes, he's independent compared to a dog. Yes, he can handle solitude a dog would fall apart in. But he is not a houseplant you water and walk away from. He is a predator, wired down to his bones for routine, the same feeding times, the same sounds, the same rhythm of a day. And when that routine vanishes all at once, when the food schedule, the household sounds, the movement, the warmth of you, the very smell of you all disappear in the same afternoon, his body doesn't shrug. It registers it as stress, real, measurable, physical stress. And here's the part that matters. A stressed cat doesn't just sulk. A stressed cat does specific, dangerous things. He stops eating. He stops drinking. He stops using the litter box the way he should. He hides. Hold on to that, because it's the single thread that runs straight through all 7 things on this list. Everything I'm about to tell you is really about one thing: keeping a stressed, solitary cat eating, drinking, and calm while the one person he trusts is gone. So, Number 7, piling up a mountain of dry food and calling it solved. This is the classic. This is the one almost everybody does. You're leaving for 2 days, so you grab the bag, you dump it into the biggest bowl you own, you top it off until it's overflowing onto the floor, and you think, there, done. He physically cannot run out. And I understand the logic completely. But here's the problem, and it's a bigger one than it looks. A cat is not a grazing animal who paces himself out of some inner wisdom. Some cats, a lot of cats, will gorge. They'll see that endless full bowl and eat far, far past what they need in the first few hours, just because it's there, because on some ancient level, a huge pile of food says, "Feast now, who knows about tomorrow?" And then they throw the whole thing back up on your rug an hour later. So now this cat has an upset stomach, and he's eaten through a chunk of the food you left, and the rest of the weekend he's queasy and off. That's one kind of cat. The other kind does the exact opposite, and this is the one people never see coming. The food just sits there. Dry kibble is loaded with fats, and fats in the open air go stale. They go rancid. Over a day, over 2 days, sitting out in a warm room, the smell of that food turns, and a cat lives through his nose. His appetite is 90% smell. So a picky cat walks up to that mountain on day 2, gives it one sniff, decides it smells wrong, and walks away. Now he's got a full bowl, and he's still not eating. And a cat that won't eat is not a small problem. That's the whole reason this one is on the list. When a cat goes without food for a real stretch, their body can start turning on itself in ways that get dangerous faster than you'd ever expect. I've talked about that on this channel before, so I won't reopen it here, but understand the gap. He has food available, and he is actually eating well are two completely different sentences. A full bowl proves the first one. It proves nothing about the second. The fix isn't more food, it's the right delivery. An automatic feeder, the kind that drops a small portion on a timer 2 or 3 times a day, keeps every serving fresh and keeps the gorger from binging, because the food arrives the way it would if you were home scooping it. Even without a gadget, a couple of measured meals set out beats one heaping mountain, because quantity is not the same as care. Never was. Now, number 6. And this one, almost nobody thinks about. Number 6. Leaving one bowl of water standing still, going stale. You filled it to the brim before you left, so you feel covered. But think about what happens to standing water over a day or 2. Dust settles on it. Hair floats into it. In a warm room, it goes flat and warm and starts to taste like the plastic bowl it's sitting in. And cats are famously frustratingly reluctant drinkers to begin with. They evolved from desert animals, and they run right on the edge of not drinking enough even on a good day. Give a reluctant drinker one stale, dusty, lukewarm bowl, and you've built a machine for dehydration. This matters more than almost anyone realizes, because a cat's whole internal plumbing, I've talked about the kidneys before, so I'll leave it at this, depends on him staying hydrated. And a dehydrated cat over a long weekend is a cat headed for trouble. The fix is embarrassingly simple. Don't leave one water source. Leave several in different rooms. A water fountain that keeps the water moving and cool is even better. Many cats drink far more from running water than from a still bowl because moving water reads as fresh to a predator's instincts. 2 or 3 stations. Moving water if you can. Never just the one lonely bowl. Number 5. Pay attention, because this is the one that separates people who leave a cat from people who actually prepare a home. Number 5. Leaving a house with absolutely nothing in it for him to do. No enrichment. You walk out, and the environment you leave behind is a flat, empty, motionless box. 4 walls and a couch and a silence. And here's what you have to understand about your cat's mind, because this is the part people just don't picture. He is a hunter with a full job description and no job. In the wild, and your house cat is barely a few steps removed from the wild. A cat spends his waking hours stalking, climbing to high places, watching, waiting, pouncing, patrolling the borders of his territory. That is his work. That is what his brain is built to spend the day doing. Now put that same animal in your living room, with you gone, and give him a flat, empty box. There is nothing to stalk, nothing to climb that means anything, nothing moving to watch. And a bored, understimulated cat does not simply sit there being peacefully, pleasantly bored the way we imagine. He tips the other way, into frustration, into low-grade stress that builds over the hours, sometimes into scratching your furniture apart, sometimes into over-grooming, licking and pulling at his own coat until there are bald patches, because the tension has to go somewhere, and there's nothing else to do with it. A hunter with no hunt turns that energy inward, and the fix costs almost nothing. Leave the vertical world open to him, a cat tree, a shelf, a cleared-off windowsill where he can sit up high and watch birds and cars and people move down the street. That window is live television for a cat. He'll watch it for hours. Leave a few toys out on the floor, and here's the trick. Rotate them. Put some away and bring different ones out, so the ones he sees feel new instead of invisible. A puzzle feeder. One of those toys that makes him bat and work a little to get a treat out is even better because it turns eating into hunting, and hunting is exactly the thing his brain is starving for while you're gone. A cracked blind, a bird feeder stuck to the outside of the glass. Understand what you're really doing here. You are not leaving him a room to survive in. You are leaving him a territory to patrol, so make it worth patrolling. Which brings me to number 4, and this one people get exactly backwards. Number 4, leaving him in total darkness and total silence. And this one feels like the considerate thing to do. That's what makes it sneaky. I'll close all the blinds. I'll keep it dark and quiet and calm, so he can rest while I'm gone. Your heart is in the right place. But a house sealed into black, dead silence is not soothing to a cat. It's disorienting, especially over long hours, rolling into the night and then into a whole next day with nothing changing. Cats are crepuscular, that's the word. They're built to come alive at dawn and at dusk, and they read the day partly through low light and partly through the ordinary ambient sound of a lived-in home. The hum of the fridge, traffic outside, a neighbor's footsteps. Strip every bit of that away and seal him in the dark, and you haven't made the place peaceful. You've made it feel abandoned, empty, wrong. And the other half of this mistake is the opposite extreme, which I see just as often, cranking a radio up loud to keep him company, which just floods a stressed cat with noise he can't escape. The fix is the middle, and it's simple. Leave a lamp on a timer so the place shifts from day into evening naturally, the way it would if you were living in it. Leave the blinds cracked so real daylight can move across the floor as the hours pass. That moving light is a clock to him. And leave a soft, low background sound. The TV on quiet, gentle music. The low, steady murmur a house makes when a person is somewhere inside it. Not silence, not a nightclub. Just the ordinary hum of an occupied home. That's the sound that quietly tells his nervous system the world hasn't ended and you haven't vanished off the face of it. Halfway down. We're at number 3, and number 3 is one of the fastest ways a "he was fine when I left" weekend goes wrong. Number 3, one litter box, left dirty. Look, you know cats are clean animals. You know it. And yet the single litter box gets left just as it was, maybe already used that morning, and then you're gone for 2 days. Here's what happens in a cat's head. A cat has a deep instinct not to soil his own space, and an even deeper aversion to a dirty toilet. Leave him one box and let it fill up, and a fussy cat will simply stop using it, and then he holds it or he goes somewhere he shouldn't, on your bed, in the corner, because you gave him no clean option. Holding urine is not harmless for a cat. The urinary tract is one of the most fragile systems he's got, and I've spoken about that plenty, so just trust me that a cat who holds it all weekend is a cat at risk. The rule vets say for a reason, 1 box per cat plus 1 extra. So if you have 1 cat, that's 2 boxes. 2 cats, 3 boxes. Put them in different quiet spots. Scoop them completely clean the moment before you walk out the door. And if you'll be gone long, leave them fuller and fresher than feels necessary. A clean bathroom is not a luxury to a cat. It's the difference between him going all weekend and him getting sick. Now, number 2. And number 2 is the one people are the most stubborn about, the one they argue with me on. Number 2, stretching the alone time past what's actually safe with no one checking in. He's a cat. He'll be fine for the weekend. And this is where I have to be careful, because I'm not going to hand you a magic number of hours. The honest truth is that it depends entirely on the individual cat, And any vet who gives you one fixed number for every cat is guessing, so let me give you the real framework instead. A healthy adult cat, well set up with everything we've talked about, tolerates a normal workday alone without much trouble. That's inside his range. A full day into the evening, still within reason if the home is prepared. But the moment you cross into being gone overnight, and then a second night, you are no longer in he'll be fine territory, and it does not matter how much food and water you piled up, because the risk over that long stretch isn't running out of supplies. It's that if something goes wrong, no human sees it for days. And here's the part that changes everything, the part I want you to really hear. It's not about age being a number. It's about who your cat actually is. A young, healthy adult cat has the most tolerance for time alone. But a tiny kitten? A kitten cannot go a full day alone. They eat small and often. They get into trouble. They can't regulate themselves. They need eyes on them far more often. And on the other end, a senior cat, or a cat with any ongoing health condition, kidney trouble, diabetes, anything that needs monitoring or medication on a schedule, that cat also cannot be left the way a healthy young adult can, because their whole health can turn in the space of the days you're gone, and medication that has to be given on time cannot be given by an empty apartment. So the framework is this. The younger, the older, or the sicker the cat, the shorter the safe window and the more non-negotiable it becomes that a real human lays eyes on him. Not more Kibble, a human. Which is exactly why, past a workday, you get a trusted neighbor, a friend, or a paid pet sitter to physically come in, see him, check the food and water, scoop the box, and confirm with their own eyes that he is eating, drinking, moving, and alive. Somebody checks. That's the rule. And that leads us straight to number one. The most important one. The one I saved for last on purpose. Number one, leaving with no way to see him. No camera. No eyes on the home at all. Here's why this is number one. Above the food, above the water, above all of it. Every single thing we've talked about, the eating, the drinking, the litter box, the stress, the senior cat whose health can turn, every one of those can go wrong silently while you're gone, and you would have absolutely no idea until you walked back through the door. A cat is the best animal in the whole world at hiding that something is wrong. He hides pain. He hides sickness. He hides it right up until he can't anymore. It's an instinct baked in from a million years of not showing weakness to predators. So a cat can be in real trouble, curled up not eating, breathing wrong, hiding under the bed, and from the outside the house looks perfectly calm. That silence is not safety. That silence is the danger. A simple camera breaks that silence. A cheap indoor camera on your phone, and I'm not selling you a brand, any basic one does the job, means that from wherever you are you can look and see. Is he moving around? Is he at the food? Is he acting like himself? Or is he hunched in a corner in a way that tells you to call your neighbor right now and get in there? It turns a blind, helpless, I hope he's okay, into, I can see he's okay, or into, something's wrong, and I found out on day 1 instead of day 3. That head start, that early warning, is the single most valuable thing you can leave behind. Not because a camera cares for him, it doesn't, but because it gives a human the chance to act while acting still helps. So, there they are, counted down. 7. Don't pile up one mountain of stale dry food. 6. Don't leave one stale standing bowl of water. 5. Don't leave a flat, empty, boring space. 4. Don't seal him into total darkness and silence. 3. Don't leave one dirty litter box. 2. Don't stretch the time past what's safe with nobody checking in. And 1. Never, ever leave with no way to see him. Now let me take the weight off your shoulders because I know how this lands. You're standing there thinking of every trip you've already taken, every time you dumped the bowl and locked the door and hoped. Let it go. You didn't know, and now you do. And the cat in front of you tonight doesn't care about the trips before this one. He only needs the next one done right. And doing it right isn't about being rich or perfect. It's about 10 minutes of setup and one phone call to someone who'll check in. That's how the old-timers looked after their animals when they had to be away. They didn't leave them to luck. They made sure another set of hands and another set of eyes were part of the plan. And that's still how it's done, quietly, in every home that truly loves a cat. Before you go, tell me down in the comments, how long is the longest you've ever left your cat? And did you have someone checking in? I read these, and I want to know. And if this helped you see your own front door a little differently tonight, that's the whole reason I made it.